Picture this, right now, while the Ventura County sun is bleeding out over 63 acres of dead avocado trees that used to pay the bills, and now just mock the man who bought them from Dean Martin like some drunk conquistador claiming a kingdom of guacamole. Tom Selleck, born January 29, 1945, in the gray, smoky heart of Detroit where factory whistles screamed louder than babies and his old man Robert was still patching B-29s fresh from bombing the world back to the Stone Age, came into existence. As the second kid in a family that would soon flee west like the Jodes with better hair. Mom Martha holding down the fort, while Dad gambled everything on a commission-only Coldwell Banker gig in a Sherman Oaks that was still mostly orange groves and broken dreams. No salary, no safety net, just pure testicular fortitude and a prayer that California wouldn't eat them alive. By 1960, Dad was pulling $70,000 a year, basically White House money, while Tom shot up to 6 feet 4 inches like a redwood on steroids, towering over classmates who looked like garden gnomes next to his beanpole frame. Feeling like a walking circus freak until he figured out height plus coordination equals free throws and fastballs. So he dominated Grant High hoops and baseball diamonds like a gentle giant who could palm your skull and still ask if you wanted to be friends. Then at 17, Mulholland Drive decided to collect its debt early, barreling down those snake curves in Mom's cherry red Chevy Corvair with 2 buddies. Tires screaming, gravity laughing, car airborne like a bad decision with wings. Crashing so hard the wreckage looked like modern art, and Tom walked away with nothing but a new religion called Holy Shit, I'm Mortal. The opening chapter of his 2024 memoir You Never Know, because some stories write themselves in twisted metal and teenage blood. Money was tight in those early Cali years, so Tom slung suits at a clothing store like a 6'4" mannequin with a pulse. Kept the gig even after 20th. Century Fox scouted him, lost the contract anyway, went right back to folding sweaters because pride doesn't pay rent, turned down a full-ride basketball scholarship to Montana State because USC was the dream and dreams don't come with discount codes. So he grinded through Valley Junior College, lived at home, saved every dime. Finally Trojaned up in 65 only to ride the bench so hard he scored 4 points in 7 games and 0 in 3 the next season like a giraffe trying to play point guard. Sigma Chi brothers shoved him onto the dating game twice, 65 and 67. Lost both times so spectacularly he still calls it the most humiliating moment of his life, standing there in a borrowed blazer while bachelorettes picked shorter, smoother dudes, and the entire nation watched Tom Selleck become America's tallest consolation prize. But humiliation has a way of opening doors. One casting agent saw the Pepsi Dunk commercial where Tom chugged so much soda, he puked backstage for $1,000. Loved the all-American jawline. And suddenly Fox was calling again until Vietnam sent a draft notice that said, "Pack your shit, Magnum." So Tom sidestepped into the California National Guard 160th Infantry. 6 years of weekends and Watts riots, rising to sergeant then second lieutenant, while keeping his dress greens in the trunk next to headshots, because auditions don't wait for war. Fox dropped him anyway. Milton Katsilas at Beverly Hills Playhouse picked him up and screamed him into shape in a classroom that felt more like Jonestown with jazz hands. Stand and clap when I enter. Pull your own hair to feel rage. Borderline cult shit that somehow forged diamond from coal. Modeled for Salem cigarettes because tall, dark, and handsome sells lung cancer like nobody's business. Made more in one shoot than a month at United Airlines campus rep gig. Later spent decades apologizing every time some reporter dragged those ads out like a skeleton doing the Macarena. Bit parts. Firings for being too tall. 6 episodes of Rockford Files as Lance White arguing with James Garner over whether the character should be a Boy Scout or a punchline. Cheap horror flick Daughters of Satan in the Philippines where Real Flames licked his mustache and the crew spoke zero English, but plenty of panic. Charlie's Angels canned him after 1 episode because next to Farrah the Angels looked like hobbits. Back to commercials in the same navy suit until the fabric begged for mercy, almost walked away from. Magnum PI because the original script was James Bond on acid, Clifftop Mansion, Attack Dobermans, Machine Gun Hang Glider, and Tom looked Donald Belisario dead in the eye and said, "I'm not playing a cartoon. Rewrite it or I'm out." So they did, mid-production, pissing off CBS so hard they nearly canceled the show before it aired. But that rewrite turned Thomas Sullivan Magnum 4 into the wry, flawed Ferrari driving Vietnam vet we still quote, and Tom into a goddamn icon. Nearly became Indiana Jones. Spielberg and Lucas begged, screen test with Sean Young sizzled like bacon. But CBS chained him to Magnum with a contract forged in hell. Then the SAG strike gifted him the exact 6-month window to shoot Raiders, and the network still said no. So Harrison Ford got the whip, the hat, the billion-dollar franchise, and Tom got to watch from a Hawaiian beach wondering if $100 million tastes like coconut. 1980 helicopter crash on Magnum set killed camera operator Robert Vander Carr, pilot. Robert Sanders dove again and again into the Pacific trying to pull his friend out. Came up empty. Tom raged at Universal until safety protocols actually changed industry-wide, because some lines you don't cross, and dead because of budget is one of them. Season 7 CBS tried to kill Magnum off. Shot. Coma. Walking toward the light. 50 million viewers screamed so loud the network resurrected him for Season 8 at $1.2 million an episode, while begging Tom to ditch helicopters in Hawaii, he told them. To shove it, fought every cut like a lion over a carcass. Married Jacqueline Ray 1971 when he was still a nobody. She held him together through starvation years. Then Magnum exploded, and so did the marriage. Hawaiian nights, local girls, tabloids feasting. 1982 divorce left her with 3 years alimony, a car, the house, and a lifetime of What If I'd Stayed Poor. Met Jilly Mack 1983 in the West End Cats. Went back 12 times like a man possessed. Co-star Jane Seymour side-eyeing him like, "Bro, it's a musical about felines, chill." Jilly didn't even own a TV. Hers got stolen. So she had no idea the mustache was famous. Quiet dinners turned into obsession. 1987 secret wedding at Lake Tahoe under fake names Tom Jenkins and Susie Mack. Because paparazzi are vampires and privacy is holy. Forgot the license. Sent a groomsman sprinting to Reno like it was a heist movie. Polaroids only. Minister clueless until vows. 1988 daughter Hannah born on the 63-acre Ventura ranch bought from Dean Martin for $5 million cash because nothing says, "I've made it," like owning the Rat Pack's old party pad. Adopted Jacqueline's son Kevin same year. Kid already spiraling. Booze at 15, Betty Ford at 20-something. $6,000 credit card lawsuits. 6 grandkids later, but the scars never fade. 3 men and a baby 1987 made $167 million and birthed the greatest urban legend in VHS history. Ghost Boy in the Curtains that was actually Ted Danson's cardboard cutout from a deleted scene, but Disney let the rumor run because haunted tapes sell. Quigley down under 1990 riding horses through Australian furnace heat. Critics yawned, but Tom still calls it a top 5 role. Batman 1989, he was on the shortlist with Mel Gibson and Charlie Sheen. Turned it down because spandex wasn't cool yet. Watched Keaton rake $411 million and rewrite cinema. Mr. Baseball 1992 culture clash comedy that bombed, but became required viewing for every MLB player heading to Japan. In and Out 1997 12-second kiss with Kevin Kline that sent conservative donors into orbit because NRA board member smooching dudes on screen is peak cognitive dissonance. Tom shrugged. I make faces for a living. Relax. Friends 1995 to 2000 as Dr. Richard Burke, Monica's older boyfriend, kept flubbing Chandler's sarcasm until Matthew Perry coached him. Audience lost their minds when Tom roasted Perry's puberty mustache on air. The Closer 1998 tanked so hard, he took a full year off. hit on the ranch licking wounds. Jesse Stone 2005 to 2015 9 TV movies he co-wrote. Ratings gold until plagiarism lawsuit settled in secret. Boston Legal 2006 liberal writers poking his NRA stance during table reads until he finally quit the board in 2018. Blue Bloods 2010 to 2024 Frank Reagan earning $200,000 an episode for $0.8 million a season. Took a 25% pay cut, $1.2 million out of his own pocket, to keep it alive. Still got axed December 13th, 2024. Read a poem on the finale while the cast sobbed like someone shot their dog. 2015 water theft scandal. 1.4 million gallons siphoned via midnight tanker trucks during California's worst drought. Settled for $21,685 and a lifetime of side-eye. 2023 drought murdered 2,500 avocado trees and century-old oaks. The ranch that once paid for itself now a $12 million money pit, with $15 to $16 million in old loans hanging like a guillotine. 2024 bilateral knee replacements, scars like railroad tracks, prednisone bloating him to 350 pounds, secret fast food binges in the truck because depression eats louder than arthritis. 2025 Live on CBS admits, I might lose the ranch. I might lose everything. Voice cracking like the teenager who almost died on Mulholland. Because the mustache that once moved Ferraris now barely moves him from couch to fridge. Memoir You Never Know drops, May 2024, 320 pages of raw gut spill. Mae West parties, roles he lost, marriages he torched, son he couldn't save, ranch he can't afford. Tops bestseller lists while he can't climb the porch steps without a winch. Boston Blue spinoff 2025 dangled like a carrot, Donnie Wahlberg hinting at cameos. But insiders whisper Tom can't walk 10 feet without help, needs a stunt gut for wide shots. Medic on standby for heart palpitations. 80 years old, 6 feet 4 inches frame bent like a question mark. Once rode ATVs across his empire. Checking wildflowers now checks pulse oximeters and blood sugar. Jilly still beside him. Worn thin but unbreakable. Hannah competing horses because the ranch gave her hooves when it took her father. Kevin soberish with 6 kids and a lifetime of apologies. The man who turned down Indiana Jones, who made Magnum a legend, who carried Blue Bloods on his back for 14 years. Who secretly married under fake names and fought studios tooth and nail, now fights gravity, fights debt, fights the mirror that shows a God who's mortal after all, and somewhere on that 63-acre graveyard of avocado dreams, under a Ventura sky that doesn't give a damn about Emmys or box office records, Tom Selleck sits in the same chair Dean Martin used to nurse hangovers, staring at dead trees and live memories. Whispering to the wind the only truth he has left. You never know, brother. You never fucking know. Until the ground you thought you owned decides it owns you back, and the only thing louder than that. Silence is the sound of everything you built cracking under the weight of time, pride, and one last mortgage payment you're not sure you can make.